My beautiful friends, family, community, thank you for joining me here as I talk about remembering who we are. Now, this is part of our journey. This is the reason why we are here. This is the reason why we are going through spiritual practice, self-development, asking these big questions, wondering, is there more to life? Wondering why I am going through these things in my life, questioning all these big things. Your soul and your purpose is directing you into a direction of discovering who you are. And that is the most powerful journey that you can ever go through in your life. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I watched a recent Netflix documentary. I'm not going to bother getting into the details or the name of it, but if you know the name based on what I'm going to say, leave it here just for fun. And there was an interview, and it was a documentary, it was an interview of someone talking about the spiritual, esoteric realm versus normal life. Now, it made me laugh, actually, to myself. It was just one of those funny things where I thought, what is normal? What do we call normal exactly? What is a normal life? Does it mean that you go to school, you further your education, you get a job, you make certain money, you get a title, and you get prestige, and maybe you have children, you have a family, and is that it? Is that normal? I don't know. For me, I mean, I've gone down that path. It didn't work for me particularly, but I'm kind of leaning towards the side that I'm on right now that is far more expansive and far more rich and flavorful and meaningful and real than what I would think of as normal. Normal, what does normal mean? I don't know. It just seems, to me, it seems like just sort of a standard 3D experience in life. It seems like it's limited. It seems like it has a roof on it. It seems like it's very boxed in. It seems like it's very rigid and structured. And there's nothing wrong with having an incredible job and making money or doing something impactful or having a family or anything like that. And don't get me wrong here, that's not what I'm saying. It's just the term normal really made me think, and it did make me laugh a little bit inside, because again, I've been down that path of wanting a specific job, wanting to be really successful in it, winning awards, having that behind me, talking about myself in interviews. I've done this and I've done that. And inside me just cringing because I just thought it was so fake and phony. And I just it just seems so standard, and it just seems so boxed in, trying to fit in a certain culture or fit in a certain status that would be acceptable of my level of success or what I was trying to accomplish in my life, and trying to fit that mold, trying to fit that that acceptability, if you will. And this is something I've actually really struggled with personally for a long time, because I didn't fit in that. I thought that I wasn't normal. I thought that I wasn't acceptable. And it's taken a long time for me to be so comfortable with that. And not only comfortable, now I see and now I know, wow, what I've gone through now and where I'm going is so rich and expansive and limitless and meaningful beyond anything I have ever experienced in my life. And like I said, it's not that you can't have a family and a career and a job or whatever it is. You can have it all. You can still have this expansiveness and there's the richness through the spiritual practice, through going through your own development, through going through your own expansion. And remember, at the root of it all, we are truly here to remember who we are at a soul level. And that is by breaking away the old paradigms, by challenging what made me get here. Am I truly happy? Truly? Do I feel this happiness? And if you feel happy with the job that you have or the career or the family, then by all means, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. I love that. If there's something that's pulling you to the direction of, I want to discover more about myself, or maybe I'm not completely fulfilled here, or there's more to my story or more to my life, then that's the path that you need to follow. And then that is going to lead you to discovering who you really are and to move more into alignment with who you are and what you're meant to do possibly on earth in this lifetime, essentially. And so we need to go through some of these motions of questioning ourselves questioning, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Is it based on what I truly love, or is it based on what maybe my friends are doing, or what my friends are going to accept, or what society is going to accept, or me just having this job or a title? Is that really going to fulfill my life? Is that really going to bring meaning into my life? And if you're on the right track, if you feel in alignment, then you're in alignment, and that's completely great. But for those out there possibly wondering or going through the motion of, could there be more? Am I truly fulfilled? Am I fitting the role of what society again wants of me? Because that is a huge, huge part of where we're coming from. And that is going to help you move into who you are, who your soul is, remembering who you are, my pure authentic self. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different life experience. Everyone is here for a different reason, and everyone is completely different. And that was one of the biggest things that I struggled when I was younger. And something that haunted me for my life was when I was going through teenage years. I had a really hard time at school. I didn't like school, actually. I was extremely bored, and my family was going through an excruciatingly hard time. It's a very difficult, traumatic time. And I was very affected by it. Being an empath and a highly sensitive individual, I was really affected by what was happening in my life. I became disenchanted by school. I was detached. I was not interested in putting any effort into it. I didn't even like going to school. It was really painful for me to even go. And so my parents put me into a private school for learning disabled. And I was labeled as having that. I was diagnosed by a psychologist for having a learning disability when I was young, just because I couldn't engage in the regular school system. This played out for my entire life. I went to private school. I went back into the regular school system feeling stupid, because I couldn't fit in. And because I couldn't fit in and sit there in school, in class, like everyone else, while the family was falling apart, while I couldn't figure out, I wasn't even clued in with who I was, or even just having sensitivities wasn't acceptable or wasn't even thought of back then. This was quite a while ago, by the way. This was in 92, 3. I graduated high school in 94. There you go. So this was quite some time ago, and I really do hope that things have changed. I really do, because back then, if you thought differently, if you didn't fit into the standard, then you were labeled with something was wrong with you, and that's something I took with me for my entire life. And so when I went back into the regular school system, my confidence took a big hit. I felt stupid. I felt like I couldn't measure up. I feel like I was inadequate. I felt like I couldn't learn with the normal students at all either, because of that. So it really, I took a hit for it. Even though I managed to further my education and go into the corporate industry and actually did really well, in the back of my mind, I continuously had imposter syndrome. I was so fearful, but I pushed myself hard to achieve goals. But in the background, I was dying inside because I couldn't fit in. I tried so hard. I thought, what was wrong with me? Even in the corporate culture, I was losing interest. I loved learning. I loved technology. I was in the digital marketing tech industry. I loved it. I did really well up until a point when everything started catching up with me, because I wasn't honoring my true self. But I didn't know. I didn't know how to find myself. I didn't know what was going on. I went into depression. I won't even get into all the stories of what was happening behind the scenes. But it was really, really, really tough, because I wanted to fit in. I thought status, saying the clients I was working on, the awards that I won, all these things was important. And I just kept going for that, because that's all I thought was acceptable in society. And then it all caught up to me, and I went through a downward spiral for years. And that's also why I do this work, because if I can help anyone out there streamline the process of aligning with yourself and finding yourself and remembering who you are and honoring that with confidence and owning it and becoming successful and empowered in the direction you're meant to be on, then my job is done. Because of what I've gone through, it took half my life to figure this out, essentially. And at the root of it all is coming back to remembering who we are. dismantling the layers of the old paradigm of what our parents placed on us, or what, and heaven, God bless our parents, but they have come from a different timeline as well. They have brought in their timeline into this timeline. We're now in our timeline, and we need to start to question, is that part of my timeline? Is their timeline part of my timeline? Are their needs and their perceptions and their beliefs part of my beliefs? Is society's beliefs and perceptions part of my beliefs? Are my friends' perceptions and beliefs part of my beliefs? And we adopt things and we integrate things into our lives so subconsciously we don't even realize that we're doing it. This includes habits, beliefs, even easy, simple things as eating and diet. Sometimes we integrate a certain diet because maybe our family ate that way or our friends ate that way, and then all of a sudden we're eating a certain way. Might not necessarily be the healthiest way for us or the best way for us, but we just do it. We don't even notice it. And then one day we might go, hang on a minute, what am I actually feeding myself? Is it actually really good? Sometimes we don't even go into that questioning, into questioning if that is actually good for us. It's all the same thing. We form habits and beliefs in every area of our life: relationships, health, wellness, education, career, all of it, personal development, self-worth, all of it. All of it is a construct of things that we have integrated and adopted or brought into our belief system from externally. And then we formed our own. Part of it is our own internal guidance system, but oftentimes it gets so clouded with all of the others that we lose ourselves in the outside noise, in the outside influence. So it is all about dismantling all of those and moving more into ourself, moving more into empowerment, understanding the alignment with our higher self, with our true self, so that we can let that guide us, and so that we can step in the direction that we feel pulled towards, that we feel in alignment with. And from there, you can't go wrong. Things move faster, things happen easier, and you're living your full potential. And even if you're happy in a job where maybe you're very successful, you have a great career, you have status, maybe you have wonderful income, all those good things, maybe there's a part of you that isn't quite complete or feeling totally 100% in alignment or happy or satisfied or fulfilled. Can you imagine how much potential you have if you just tweaked it a little bit, went into alignment with what you're meant to do, the success that you can have? We are limitless. We are limitless in what we can create. We really are. And I feel that truthfully, a lot of us are doing ourselves a disservice if we aren't trying to reach that level, if we aren't trying to challenge ourselves and go, how far can I really go? It's not about the books and about the career. It's not all about that. And that's fine. That's just a fine aspect of our life. It's more than that. How can we really truly show up and really align with our potential and who we really are to create that big impact, that meaningful experience? And even with manifestation, I always say you have to be aligned with your why, who you are and why you are pulled in that direction, why you want that manifestation, why you want that certain path or those certain results or that certain relationship. It has to align with your why. And the more you can connect with your internal self, your soul self, your purpose, then that is your guidance system. That is going to get you right to the finish line, like laser sharp, laser focused, because that's what you're meant to do. That's who you are. And so it all comes back to remembering who we are. And yeah, there is work involved with it. There's a lot of work involved with it. It's deconstructing and reconstructing the old to the new, breaking the old barriers, maybe some past life work as well that plays a huge part in it, which I'll get to more. But I hope that sheds a little bit of information. Again, if you have any questions, comments about even sharing your own experiences, I'd love to hear them. But this is all about remembering, again, who we are at the fundamental base of it. And when you're there, when you're in alignment, that's when everything will fall into place perfectly. All right, my loves, I do hope that shed some light. I will be seeing you again next time, and take care.